NFC Player of the Year. In the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame, 5-time NFC Championship games in his career. The all-time leader in Philadelphia Eagles pass attempts, completions, yards, and passing touchdowns. But for the moment, as he pointed out, soccer dad.
Yes, that's me.
Donovan J. McNabb.
Yes, indeed. In the house.
In the house. Syracuse is in the house right now.
Syracuse is definitely in the house. We're deep.
I know that. I got to tell you, I was just talking moments ago about how we kind of first met over Eagles Cam on NFL Total Access. I would fire up Eagles Cam for you. I was first introduced to the magic of Donovan J. McNabb when you ran without shoes into the end zone in the big house and absolutely stuck it to my Wolverines.
Yeah, I was about to say, how did you feel about that?
I was pissed. I'm like, this guy I've never heard of, all due respect, from Syracuse is going to run in the big house without shoes on and beat the Wolverines?
Yeah, it was a tough couple weeks for them.
Did you purposely untie your shoes for that?
No.
Donovan, just to show off and score without? Did the shoe just happen to fly off you?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because I was the first to for my shoes to kind of come off or explode before Zion did it this past year. Unfortunately, I wasn't rewarded with a $100 million contract.
Timing's everything.
So I guess they went with Velcro. I think after that, or you know,
just flew out of the shoe.
You know, unfortunately, it just didn't work for me.
It just adds to the legend.
I'm glad you brought it up because now people will go back and watch the VHS.
They will.
September 12th, 1998.
So it was early on. That's back in the day when you
that was
win
after I think you guys had lost to Notre Dame in that first week, and then we came in and just added more fuel to the fire.
I will tell you, that was back in the day. Was that that's pre-BCS, right?
That was the first year of the BCS.
First year of the BCS. When we're all
because Don, we got jobbed at home against Tennessee that year.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. The Phantom pass interference call.
On Peerless Price. Get out of here.
Peerless Price.
Will Allen, yeah.
Good names were thrown out right now.
T. Martin was Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah, okay. It's enough Syracuse. Hold on. How did you wind up at Syracuse? How did you get there?
I was recruited by Paul Pasqualoni and Kevin Rogers. The offense was very similar. They came out to Chicago to recruit a young kid out of Mount Carmel High School that they thought would be able to carry the torch from Marvin Graves that have been able to kind of light for me.
And his name was Donovan McNabb.
Yes. And I carried on the five tradition.
I thought you were about to go third person on me right there.
No.
I thought you were going to go and they pulled Donovan out of Chicago.
I wasn't going to hit you with a Samuel Jackson, you know.
So you go to Syracuse.
Yes.
All right. We all remember your draft day.
Mm-hmm. It was exciting. You know, everybody wants to talk about the booze, but I look beyond that. You know, it was an exciting time for me. You know, it was the first chapter in the book of Donovan.
That had to hurt, though. I mean, I've kind of heard you.
The only reason it didn't as much is because I've never been booed. So I didn't know what was going on.
What the hell? They wanted Ricky Williams, too.
Yeah. Ricky was a great guy. I
know.
He did some great things in college.
Now, this is at Radio City Music Hall, right?
Yes.
So they drove all the way up the turnpike just to boo you. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. Things happen.
I know, but then you went out and did what you did with Andy Reid, for sure. What would you say is the pinnacle of your time in Philadelphia, Donovan?
You know what? It was finally getting over the hump and making it to the Super Bowl. You know, we had battled so much, NFC Championship, winning the NFC East, and finally getting over the hump. That, I think, was the pinnacle for all of us at that particular time.
And what did Andy Reid do for you? What was your relationship?
He allowed me to be myself.
What does that mean?
So many coaches, they draft their quarterbacks and make them robotic. You know, this is the way that it's been run. It's been proven that it works. We have to do this. No, Andy allowed me to come in, learn the offense, and he said, hey, you know what? Are you comfortable? Right. You understand what we're doing? Now I want you to be you. If one's there, throw it. If one's not there, two's not there, three's not there, use your legs. And as we continue to progress together and mature in the offense, then we can kind of get creative at times. You know, if 1, 2, 3's not there, hey, I move, go back to 3, see if 1 is available. And then we start to play a little playground football.
Who's the most talented guy you played with?
Probably, I mean, it's tough. You know, we had the Brian Westbrooks, obviously. You know, what T.O. brought to us. We had some great offensive linemen on the defensive end, Brian Dawkins, Javon Curse, Jeremiah Trotter. The list goes on. But I would just say it's hard to say, but when you have a weapon behind you that not only can run the football, pick up blitzes and catch the football out of the backfield. That's an added dimension that every quarterback would love to have.
It's interesting. Donovan McNabb here on the Rich Eisen Show. What you just described, what Andy Reid did for you, it just seems like it's being replicated with Mahomes. When we talk about guys throwing with his left hand,
without a doubt,
no look throwing,
and just in his second season,
and his first full as
a starter,
right?
Yes,
it just seems that that's what McNabb is. That's what Reid is seeing in Mahomes, and he's doing right now.
It's funny you bring up Patrick Mahomes because some of the things that he's been doing at this particular point, he did a little bit at Texas Tech. From the scrambles and throwing the 65, 70 yards downfield,
right?
Where everyone said, that's just not football. Well, when you see it on the center stage and Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, the list goes on of guys that are on the other end of it, now you start to appreciate his game a little bit more.
Right.
And I think we've seen it so much from the Randall Cunninghams to the Michael Vicks. The list goes on of all the mobile quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers does it himself. But when Aaron does it, it's beautiful. It's like poetry in motion.
Mm-hmm.
When Patrick does it, it's like, that's playground football. No, it's the same thing. It just has a little bit more pizzazz to it.
So you live in Phoenix now. So you had a front row seat, obviously, to the Kyler Murray selection by the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
Do you think he's going to pan out in the NFL?
I believe there's a 3-year process. And I say the 3-year process, maybe Steve Keim's not there for the whole duration. But I think they have to build from within for him to be successful. That means up front have some pretty good blockers in the passing game and also be able to run the football with David Johnson. Give him a weapon on the outside besides Larry Fitzgerald. I love Larry. That's like my brother, my younger brother. But at this point, he's almost like a turtle.
Well, they also moved him inside pretty much too.
That's where you need someone on the outside.
Well, they got Christian Kirk, and they drafted a whole bunch of kids. We'll see which one might be able to take the top off here.
But you need to get a vet who has proven that he can get off press coverage and create separation. Mm-hmm. If you do that, it opens up everything else in the middle of the field for Larry. And then with that said, what are you going to have on defense? Are you going to have any pass rushers besides Chandler Jones? Is anybody going to get to the quarterback? Will someone else, now that Patrick Peterson will be out for a couple games, will they step up and be a threat in the secondary?
But I'm just talking about Kyler Murray.
But it all works together because right now we're focusing just on the quarterback.
Yeah.
But it's a total team effort, especially for a young guy. Josh Rosen was getting hit in the face 7 to 8 times a game.
That's a fact, but he doesn't have the ability to escape in the same way that Kyler Murray.
But it shouldn't be about that. That's a bonus. If you can play from the pocket and get the ball out of your hands and complete passes downfield to move the chains, now on defense they get you the ball back. Now all of a sudden that quarterback looks a little different.
Is that the way you viewed it when you came off of Syracuse, though, for Andy Reid, Donovan?
Yes.
And
that was the thing that I always argue with Andy every year during the draft, and he would go out and get some of the fat guys. He would go out and get an offensive lineman and D-line. But the thing that he explained to me was, I'm going to protect you and make sure I get the ball back for you.
Right.
And then you can do your thing. But if you're constantly on your back or you're running around in circles back there, it's not making neither one of us look good.
Donovan McNabb here on the Rich Eisen Show. Speaking of 3-year plans, if you don't mind me
please, let's break it down.
Going this direction.
Oh, no, not the glasses.
Glasses are on. Is Carson Wentz on a 3-year plan, according to you, Donovan McNabb?
Well,
and having to get out of the second round of the playoffs?
That wouldn't be a decision that I would have to make. That's a decision they have to make. Now, they picked up his option, and he's cleared now for football activities.
Yes.
If he stays healthy this year and we see the Carson that we've seen when he's healthy, great things can happen in Philadelphia. If something happens, then I'm sure they'll go back to my comments this summer of what if. But I think when he's healthy, Carson is one of the best young quarterbacks in the game.
Mm-hmm. No, I see that. I want to read what you said.
Please,
just so you can,
please.
I think personally, if he can't get out of the second round in the next 2, maybe 3 years, but really 2 years to be honest with you, if he can't get out of the second round, they should look to possibly draft another quarterback because you just don't know about his
durability.
His durability. Correct.
Yes.
So
think about this. The last 2 seasons, your backup quarterback is taking you to a Super Bowl for a win and MVP, and then possibly back to the NFC Championship with the same team that you have. Now, if he's healthy and they get out of the first round, then that's good for him. But what happens in that next year? If he's ousted in the first round, who are we pointing the finger at? I've played the position.
And
It's
in
the
that
nature of the
city,
business.
too, you've played that position in that city, too.
Yes.
Is that your point here?
I have experience of being there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the nature of the business. It's nothing against Carson. I love Carson. I love his game. When he's healthy, he's one of the best in the game. But that's just the way it is. I mean, if you're not healthy, think about this. If Andrew Luck wasn't able to come back after the shoulder injury, you think the Indianapolis Colts would have not drafted a quarterback?
Of course they would have.
Right. So why would it be any different for anywhere else?
Well, because let me get into it here a little bit. Because Carson Wentz is a different. First of all, it's a back and it's a knee. It's not a shoulder. So, but it is still an injury.
It's an injury,
which is your point.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's 2 years in a row where he has not been able to play in the playoffs or answer the bell, however you want to
finish the season.
Finish the season.
Yeah.
Correct. And so to basically say right now that he's on notice for the next 2-3 years is a reasonable way of looking at it. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a way of maybe stirring the pot in the city where he's beloved in a way that perhaps.
But the pot has already been stirred.
So that's why I'm bringing this up as well in this regard, is some of the Eagles folks there did not take kindly to your comments.
But you know what's funny? This is the conversation that's been going on for the last year and a half. Because majority of those fans out there in Philly really wanted Nick back. They were upset when they decided not to bring Nick back. Now, I felt like this was the opportunity for Carson to come in and take his team back over.
So you think they should have brought Nick Foles back?
No.
Because because it's his time. It's his time to get paid. That's number one.
Well, it is.
And you can't pay a backup like that.
True.
So maybe then your sense is that they should have made Nick the starter.
No, what I'm saying is this is a great opportunity for Carson because I knew they were going to move on with Nick. Nick knew that he was going to have to move. But this is a great opportunity for Carson to regain his team back. Look at all the things that were going on and talked about in the locker room, talking about his leadership and how arrogant he was. Things like that starts to pick up inside, and it carries outside for us to even talk about it as media members.
You're talking about Wentz?
Wentz.
Well, a lot of people said that was false.
So why would it even come out?
I don't know.
See, that's the thing. People say it's false a point.
So many people pounded the table for Carson when they said that.
And they should. His teammates should.
Mm-hmm.
But it still was out there. Think about it. I mean, I'm not saying anything that nobody else has said.
I know, but you're Donovan McNabb, who's played in Philadelphia for all those years. And that's what I think people are saying, is that you should be a cheerleader here.
I'm also no longer get paid by the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, I hear that. The reason why I'm bringing it up is that there's two ways of looking at it. Yeah, he's injury prone. He hasn't been able to finish the season for 2 straight years. And any other quarterback in any other situation, you know what? You got to start thinking about what this guy's viability is moving long term. Certainly if you're putting all the eggs in the basket when you had a Super Bowl MVP and you let him walk to Jacksonville to get paid. That's one way to look at it. Another way is like, you know what? Those injuries were just 2 unfortunate things. He dove for the end zone. He shouldn't be doing that anymore. He'll be a little bit better. The back, I have no earthly idea what happened. I don't think anybody does right now.
No.
And those are just things that happen in the NFL where you can get hurt, but he's really supremely talented, and they're going to go. And they're going to go back to the Super Bowl with him.
I believe they can.
Okay.
I believe they can represent the NFCs, and I represent the NFC. But he has to be healthy. I don't think that they will be able to do that without him being healthy.
Donovan McNabb here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you think of Brady being able to play as long as he has? Drew Brees,
I commend him. Not
Brees
that I'm going to try any avocado ice cream, but,
Brees is closing in potentially on 20 years right now in the NFL.
And it's one to be said for Drew Brees. We've seen Tom, and Tom looks amazing, and he's done a great job. But for Drew Brees, I mean, he's battled injury. Remember, he battled the shoulder injury and bounced back.
Well, then obviously that was what led him to not go to Miami.
Not go to Miami, end up with Sean Payton.
Right.
And he's continuously put up great numbers at the age that he's playing at. I commend Drew. I thought he probably would say that it was his last year after last year. But I give him a lot of credit for the way that he's been playing. And they're actually still a tough match to go against with Kamara. I thought they would have kept Ingram, but they decided to go in another direction. Their defense, I mean, they still has pass rushers
and
guys in the secondary that can make plays for them. So Sean Payton has done a great job with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, it's just amazing again that Brady is 42 and does not seem to have lost a single step. Nothing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I remember years ago I said it on my radio show when I was working with the ESPN. I said he was the GOAT. You know, Joe Montana, he and Joe Montana have been battling, but he's proven at this age to still play at this elite level that he's the greatest of all time.
So, what do you think your numbers would be if you were able to play in today's game?
Not that great.
You don't think so?
I mean, the game has changed a little bit, and I'm old. You know, I've taken some hits, and I've got the dad bod, you know, right now. But I commit him. It's always one in a bunch.
Yeah.
When you look at the older guys who have kind of retired and moved on, to say, hey, man, if I still played, I would be. No, Tom is just that guy.
What about in your prime? Prime McNabb.
It depends on who
McNabb.
I'm playing with.
Reid.
As a head coach, yes. Who do I have on the outside?
T.O.
A younger T.O.?
No, I guess the one that you played with.
That I played with?
Yeah.
Minus the drama?
No, because that's the T.O. that you get. Come on, you understand. You understand. You know, I mean, because we came on this show a few years ago, said the two of you guys were okay. Would you agree with that?
I've always been okay.
He said that you saw him. What, you have?
I mean, I've always been okay. I've said that he was a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
I've always stood up for him and said things. Now he'll make some comments out of the ordinary, but I'm not going to go back and forth with that. But you know, I appreciate him coming over and playing with us. You know, I just kind of left it at that.
I mean, his Super Bowl performance with you guys was pretty remarkable.
He did a great job. He rehabbed back and played well. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But do you think the off the field stuff really affected everything?
That's what has put people kind of in a different light when it comes to his name. It's the off the field stuff. It's the things that he says, the attention that he draws. On the football field, one of the best to ever do it. But it's just everything else that kind of goes with it. That's all.
And you could choose the two receivers then. You choose them.
Just anybody that I've ever played with?
No. How about right now, you're Prime McNabb, 5, from my NFL Total Access first couple years, Eagles cam. You were in the middle of being the annual quarterback in the NFC to try and make it to the Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. Including that one year where you made it.
Right.
You get to choose 2 receivers in today's game.
In today's game?
Yes, sir. And a running back.
I'll take Brian Westbrook at running back.
From today's game. You take today's game. You'd still take Westbrook at running back?
You know, I probably would.
He was amazing. He was
the
terrific.
things that he was able to do. I mean, Kamara's kind of similar in so many ways to Brian Westbrook, but I would take the Brian Westbrook.
Okay.
And then receivers, I mean, I would still take my 2004, but I love Travis Kelce at tight end. I love what, even though he's kind of going through some issues with Tyreek Hill, is able to, because he's like Deshaun Jackson when he was in our offense. Mm-hmm. And then probably I would, but if I couldn't have T.O., then you might as well have someone like him and put Odell Beckham out there.
Because he is.
I mean,
I can't wait to see what Odell looks like in Cleveland this year, though. I think he is, and he's pissed.
It will be.
He's ready. He's got a chip.
Fun.
He's got a chip
for Baker Mayfield.
By the way,
if he can keep them all healthy,
they lead the league in chips with Mayfield and Jarvis and him, right?
They're
going to be chipped out.
That's a lot of conversation.
They should be brought to you by Pringles. I mean, that's a whole can.
Members of the media should have a fun time interviewing them.
I know, right? Great to have you on, Donovan. Let me know whenever you're in town. Come on and come back in here.
I would love to come back and do some things with you. That would be an honor for me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming back.
You know what?
Yeah?
I'm just going to take a couple of days off like the Golden State Warriors and relax and get back healthy.
Yeah, I remember you played. Who did you play with at Syracuse? At hoops? Was anyone on your team?
John Wallace. Okay. Our '96 team went to the national championship game.
Okay.
So we're pretty big with that. But Carmelo he's a little younger than
Isn't
me.
it amazing that Boeheim's still doing it?
Unbelievable.
Isn't that
If they
amazing?
never took his wins away, I think he probably would have retired.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
You agree with that, Chris, over there?
He's a very spiteful guy. So, yes, I do agree.
I guess it runs in the Syracuse family then, huh? That guy over there. Okay, Donovan, J. McNabb on Twitter, super_5 with IVE afterwards on Instagram. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you for having
Say
me.
hi to your lovely family. That's
I
Donovan.
definitely will.
You bet. That's Donovan McNabb here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.